It didn't happen in one night. The world didn't just drown. It faded. Coastlines blurred. Maps redrew themselves, and the places we once called home were reclaimed not by war, not by politics, but by water. By 2060, the shoreline was collapsing. Sea levels had risen nearly 2 meters. Saltwater crept into freshwater systems. Farms failed. Power grids were flooded. Entire cities, New York, Mumbai, Lagos, Shanghai became battlegrounds between rising tides and falling infrastructure. But the real crisis wasn't the water. It was the denial. Governments delayed, budgets cut, walls built. But water doesn't listen to borders. It doesn't wait for policy, so people moved first uphill, then inland, then away from land entirely. And in that chaos, a question echoed across the planet. Where do we go when land no longer wants us? That's when the idea emerged, not from politicians, but from visionaries, engineers, architects, oceanographers, survivalists. They imagined not escape, but evolution. What if we stopped fearing the ocean and started living on it? That vision became the foundation for the ship home era. Not cruise ships, not lifeboats, but permanent, modular, intelligent ocean homes built for survival, designed for comfort, engineered to float, okay? And last, at first, they were prototypes. One-family dwellings, solar-powered, self-sustaining. Experimental, then came the first floating clusters. Ship homes connected by shared docks, energy systems, and desalination units. Floating communities, small but stable, and soon. Cities. By 2075, over 400 million people had left land for ocean living. Not because they were running, but because they were building something better. A new civilization. A life beyond land. And while some still called it exile, others knew this wasn't the end of the world. It was the next version of it. Just as humanity once left forests for villages, then villages for skyscrapers. Now we step into the sea, not to escape the earth, but to reclaim it. This is the beginning of that story. Not one of fear, but of boldness, of design, of human will. Welcome to the collapse of the shoreline and the rise of the ocean frontier. They were once just concepts, sketches, and journals, 3D renders on screens, dreams floating in the minds of those who refused to sink. But by the late 2060s, ship homes became reality. Not ships, not houseboats, not repurposed yachts, but entirely new structures, homes designed from the ground up to never touch the ground again. At their core, ship homes are born from 3 principles: buoyancy, efficiency, modularity. Each one is a self-contained ecosystem, powered by the sun and the sea, built from carbon-negative materials, equipped with desalination systems. Vertical gardens and waste-free tech. They float, but not like driftwood. They are engineered with precision balance, using gyroscopic stabilizers, hydrodynamic hulls, and smart ballast systems that adapt in real time to tides and storms. Inside, they are anything but primitive. Step into a ship home, and you step into a future of comfort. Walls that shift and breathe, AI that adjusts temperature and light based on your mood. Water that recycles endlessly. Air filtered through algae biopanels. Furniture that folds, grows, and reconfigures with the needs of Quentis. A quiz of Quenti walls. WA's walls, WS wall. No mo keys, my requetti. As we recite your L's. We see with Quenti side. We see with Quenti soli. Quid quide at will liz. We see it at Kata. I went to see it to set it side to sikaba. It's big said it kyle pie to stip it to die by tip it said it to it's it we call us it whip it you skip is the apathetic the pie The family, the exterior, is just as intelligent. The surface collects solar and wind energy. The underbelly grows seaweed for food and fuel, and the frame built from graphene composites is 10x stronger than steel and 70% lighter. But ShipHomes are not meant to float alone. They're connectable, designed to dock into floating communities, modular ports, and smart harbors. Think of them as building blocks of an ocean city. Click, lock, expand. Move, some float in warm equatorial zones, tethered to coral reefs and aquatic farms. Others drift between mobile cities, forming temporary neighborhoods that rise and fall with the tide of human migration. You don't rent them, you don't own them in the traditional sense. You inhabit them, contributing energy, resources, and data to a decentralized community grid. Some ShipHomes are minimalist, built for one or two. Others are multi-level habitats with labs, schools, even underwater observatories. And they're always evolving. The latest generations are AI designed and 3D printed at sea, using harvested ocean plastic and algae-based polymers. They are homes that grow, adapt, and repair themselves. This is no longer a sci-fi fantasy. It's standard living for millions, families, scientists, artists, ocean nomads, each with their own reasons for stepping off land and choosing to float forward. The ShipHome is more than a shelter. It's a symbol that when the land gave up on us, we didn't give up on home. What does life look like when your front yard is the open ocean? In the era of ShipHomes, every day begins with sunlight, not just warming the body, but powering the home. The rooftops are solar membranes, ultra-thin, high-efficiency film that capture sunlight even through overcast skies. Tidal turbines beneath the surface spin slowly, harvesting the rhythmic pull of the sea. And vertical wind sails rotate silently above, turning ocean breezes into pure, clean energy. There are no utility bills here, no outages. Just independence. Everything is designed for self-sufficiency. Breakfast comes from the onboard aquaponic garden, a compact ecosystem where fish tanks feed plants and plants purify the water. Lettuce, herbs, tomatoes, seaweed, all grown just steps from your bed. Protein comes from clean cell fish grown in nutrient tanks or netted fresh from the water below. Food doesn't travel thousands of miles. It travels meters from garden to plate. Water is harvested directly from the air and sea. Desalination units powered by solar thermal systems extract fresh water. And smart AI ensures every drop is tracked, filtered, and reused with zero waste. Then comes work. But work in ocean cities doesn't mean commuting. The concept of office is obsolete. Instead, ShipHome residents work in floating collabs, modular platforms equipped with holodesks, virtual AI assistants, and direct neural cloud access. Architects design reef-safe structures from their deck chairs. Teachers lead live classes across continents via the ocean net. And engineers maintain drone fleets that deliver supplies between hubs. Everyone contributes energy, food, design, data, or services. Economy here isn't about profit, it's about participation. And when the work is done, there's no traffic, no sirens, no fences. Just ocean children learn by diving in coral-safe zones. Artists gather in floating studios to paint the shifting sky. Elders sit in silence as whales pass beneath the platform. Even entertainment has evolved. Theaters are open domes, projecting immersive stories beneath the stars. VR concerts float between cities. And community dinners stretch across connected ShipHomes in long shared tables lit by bioluminescent algae. Life here is slower, but it's not primitive. It's intentional. Every action is tied to the health of the water. Waste is compressed and converted into energy. Gray water feeds plankton tanks. Even human breath is recycled into the algae panels that clean the air. it's not just a place to live. It's a place that teaches you how to live differently in the floating life. Nature and technology don't compete, they cooperate. And each day lived here is a reminder that the future doesn't have to be louder, faster, or bigger. Sometimes it just needs to be smarter and afloat. To live on the ocean, we had to unlearn everything we knew about design. The ground beneath our feet, gone. Foundations, redefined the rules, completely rewritten. Welcome to the world of ocean engineering, where survival meets innovation. The ShipHomes and floating cities of today didn't emerge by chance. They were engineered to adapt, not just to waves and weather, but to an entirely different physics. It starts with the foundation. Instead of concrete and steel rebar, floating structures are built on composite flotation bases, lightweight yet strong. Made from recycled ocean plastics reinforced with graphene and memory polymers. These bases expand and flex with water pressure, able to withstand Category 6 typhoons and rogue waves the size of buildings. Each structure is anchored using smart tether systems, robotic cables that self-adjust based on ocean currents, keeping homes stable without fighting the sea. Above the surface, the architecture is hydrodynamic. Rounded edges, curved decks, and retractable barriers reduce wind resistance and wave drag. Roofs are layered with self-cleaning solar skin, thin film, solar arrays that capture both sunlight and moonlight. Every window is smart glass, regulating light, UV, and temperature without energy loss. Every wall is modular, expandable, breathable, repairable in seconds using nano-coating tech below the waterline. Engineering gets even more radical. ShipHomes are equipped with living hulls, surfaces covered in marine biocrete. It's designed to attract coral, filter water, and host micro-ecosystems. It's not just about building in the ocean. It's about becoming part of it. Cooling systems run through seawater loops. Energy is harvested from waves via oscillating generators. Emergency power, stored in saltwater batteries that are non-toxic and fully recyclable. If a structure is damaged, it doesn't sink. Self-heals, using robotic micro-drones embedded in the walls that patch cracks in real time. And at the city scale, everything is connected through the Blue Grid, an underwater network of energy, data, and water lines that link ShipHomes, hubs, and ports into one living organism. AI oversees all of it, predicting maintenance needs, adjusting weight distribution, rerouting power in storms, and even suggesting building improvements based on behavioral patterns of the residents. But it's not just tech for tech's sake. The design philosophy behind floating life is regenerative. Every structure must give back more than it takes. Less pollution, more clean water, more biodiversity, more human dignity. This is not the future of construction. It's the future of coexistence. Because to design for the sea, we had to listen to it. And in doing so, we've built structures that don't conquer nature, but collaborate with it. This is ocean engineering. This is how we build beyond land. When we left the land behind, we didn't just abandon soil. We left behind broken systems, bureaucracies that moved too slow, governments that answered too late, and cities that served the few, not the many, in the ocean. We had a chance to start over, to rebuild society from first principles. ShipHome communities didn't inherit old laws. They created new frameworks based not on geography, but on cooperation. The first floating settlements began with consensus governance. Every resident had a voice. Decisions weren't made behind closed doors, but on open holographic platforms where votes were transparent and traceable. AI played a vital role, not as a ruler, but as an advisor. Artificial intelligence managed energy distribution, monitored environmental safety, and offered unbiased recommendations based on community data. But the final decisions, always human. Floating societies aren't built around borders. They're built around nodes, interconnected. habitats that form dynamic alliances. A cluster of ShipHomes off the coast of Greenland may focus on marine research. Another near the Pacific Gyre may specialize in ocean plastic recycling. Each node trades, shares, and collaborates through a common blockchain system. Transparent, decentralized, borderless. Currency isn't physical. It's value tied to contribution, energy produced, resources shared, education offered, waste reduced, and because every node floats. If a community disagrees with the network's direction, it can disconnect, sail away, rebuild elsewhere. Autonomy by design. Education has evolved too. Children are not just taught facts, they're trained in resilience, sustainability, emotional intelligence, and marine stewardship. Each floating hub includes open learning domes where kids explore both virtual reality and real coral reefs. No more rigid curriculums, just curiosity-led learning. Healthcare is both physical and mental. With long periods at sea, mental wellness is a priority. Floating therapy pods, group meditation decks, and AI therapists operate around the clock. Community rituals like weekly shared meals, music nights, and deep-sea sunrise swims bind people together. There are no prisons, no armies. Conflicts are mediated through restorative justice, and security is handled by consensual community guardianship, not force. And the most radical shift: there are no landlords. You don't own a ship home, you steward it. Every home is assigned based on need and upgraded based on contribution. In ocean life, there is no status symbol more admired than service. The healers, the engineers, the teachers. They are the anchors of the floating world. We didn't just float away from disaster. We sailed toward a new idea of civilization. One that learns from Earth, lives with the ocean, and leaves no one behind. This isn't just survival, it's society, reimagined, rebalanced, reborn. Floating cities solved many problems, but they couldn't erase one thing: silence. Not the peaceful kind, the heavy kind. The kind that seeps in after sunset when the ocean is still, and the horizon feels infinite. Life beyond land is beautiful, but it's also isolating. Gone are the crowded streets, the spontaneous encounters, the noise of shared existence. Here on the ocean, every sound feels distant. Every conversation echoes. So, early in the ship home era, mental health became more than a personal concern. It became a pillar of survival. Engineers built floating homes. Communities built floating systems of care. Each ship home is now equipped with ambient wellness AI, not just smart assistants, but emotional companions. They track patterns, moods, speech, tone, and social rhythms. If a resident seems off, the system gently prompts, "Would you like to talk?" But machines aren't enough. That's why every ocean node has at least one human counselor. Trained in ocean psychology, a new field developed to understand what it means to live surrounded by nothing but water. Therapy pods drift quietly across neighborhoods, peaceful spaces with panoramic ocean views, soft lighting, real-time mood music, and no judgment. Here, people open up, cry, reflect, reconnect. But healing doesn't only happen in silence, it happens in ritual. Every ship, home, cluster hosts weekly gatherings, group meditation during sunrise, community dinners by bioluminescent light, open mics under the stars, floating cinemas projecting stories across the water. Because nothing heals like being seen, children grow up with emotional education as a core subject. They learn how to express, how to listen, how to be alone without being lonely. Artists are treasured in floating cities. They paint waves, compose ocean symphonies, design light shows that mimic deep-sea life. Their work reminds us that we are not machines. We are meaning-seekers. Mental wellness is not reactive here. It's woven into the rhythm of daily life. Movement is key. Walkways loop across ShipHomes to encourage flow. Fitness is built into infrastructure with ocean yoga, decks, resistance swimming zones, and gravity modulation pads. Even architecture supports well-being. Walls are curved for comfort. Colors shift with the time of day. Light is warm, never harsh. But perhaps the greatest antidote to loneliness is the ocean itself. Watching waves calms the mind. Diving into coral gardens brings awe. Hearing whales in the distance connects. Used to something ancient, we came to the sea to escape disaster, but we stayed because it taught us how to be human again. Loneliness isn't a flaw, it's a signal. And in the floating life, we learned how to listen to it, not with fear, but with care. The ocean didn't just hold our homes, it became our teacher. For too long, humanity tried to dominate nature, to build taller, dig deeper, burn faster. But when the land gave way, when the floods came and the cities sank, we realized it was never a war to win, it was a lesson to learn. And no teacher is more patient, more powerful, or more unforgiving than the sea. In the age of ShipHomes, survival depended on one thing: balance. You can't overfish in a floating life. Because the fish stop coming, you can't dump waste. Because you drink the same water, and you can't destroy coral reefs. Because they protect your platform from storms. Every mistake is immediate. Every choice felt, so we began to live differently. ShipHomes became closed-loop ecosystems. Every input matched by an output. Solar panels feed batteries. Batteries run AI. AI regulates lights, heating, and water flow. Used water irrigates algae gardens. Algae filters CO and grows. Oxygen, nothing wasted, nothing ignored. Even food became a cycle of harmony. Kelp farms grow beneath every platform. Fish are raised in ethical tanks with natural feeding cycles. Excess nutrients are returned to sea gardens, regenerating marine biodiversity. In this new world, nature isn't separate from the city, it is the city. Seabirds nest on solar sails. Barnacles cling to hydroturbines. Coral grows along the underbellies of ShipHomes, turning once barren steel into living reef. We learned from the currents, from the tides, from the migratory paths of whales and the blooming cycles of plankton. We stopped trying to conquer, and we started to mirror. Architecture began to reflect biology. Buildings that breathe like gills. Homes that flex like jellyfish. Cities that drift like schools of fish. We discovered that the ocean didn't just want balance, it demanded it. And in return, it gave us life, cleaner air, abundant energy. Peace. Sustainability here isn't a buzzword. It's law. Not by enforcement, but by necessity. Because on the ocean, if you take too much, it takes back. So we teach our children not only science, but respect. Not only engineering, but humility. And in this floating world, those who design with harmony become leaders. Those who regenerate the sea become heroes. We are no longer consumers. We are caretakers because the ocean has given us another chance. Not to repeat the mistakes of the land, but to build a civilization that listens, learns, and lives lightly. The ocean is no longer just water. It is our partner, our provider, and our greatest teacher. In every era of human history, there comes a moment when staying the same becomes more dangerous than changing everything. For thousands of years, land was our anchor. It shaped our identity, our nations, our wars, our dreams. But when the water came, we had to choose: cling to what was collapsing or leap into what could be built. And that's exactly what we did. We left the land behind. Not out of fear, but out of vision. The bold leap didn't happen all at once. It began with a few ShipHomes, then clusters, then cities that floated beyond borders, beyond maps, beyond the old way of thinking. It wasn't easy. There were failures. Storms that destroyed entire modules. Disputes between floating states. moments of doubt. But with every challenge, the ocean taught us something new. And slowly, we stopped surviving and started thriving. The leap was never just physical. It was emotional, spiritual, philosophical. We stopped defining ourselves by land ownership and started measuring worth by contribution. We stopped hoarding and started sharing. We stopped expanding endlessly and started asking, how much is enough? The ocean gave us space, not just to build homes, but to build values. No borders, no walls, no flags. Just floating cities, networked by trust and powered by sun, wind, and cooperation. Education became global. Healthcare became universal. Governance became transparent. And identity. It wasn't about where you came from, but how you lived. Children born at sea no longer ask, why don't we live on land? They ask, why would we? Because here, on the ocean, you can see the horizon in every direction. You wake up to light dancing on the waves. You sleep to the rhythm of tides, and you know every breath you take. Every step you walk, every choice you make matters. It took disaster to wake us, but it took courage to leap. And now that we've made it, there's no going back. Beyond land lies not just water, but a new world. A civilization that floats. A society that flows. A future that listens. This is the bold leap. This is the A. Great drift. This is humanity. UNANCHORED. Welcome to the sea. Welcome to what's next. Welcome to home.